Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. We post an interview with an amazing Canadian each weekday for your daily inspiration. Today, I would like to introduce you to my friend, Rod Miller. Rod was born in Red Deer and has lived in Calgary, Edmonton, and Toronto. He has traveled to over 40 countries, and he tells me that his loved ones are the center of his life. So nice. Together with his partner, Leona, they have a blended family of 5 children, a very busy house. In fact, they met through their eldest daughters, who were in high school together 10 years ago. Rod has always been passionate about human potential and his role as leader in building high-performing teams. Over the past few months, he's seen the important role that HR plays in helping organizations navigate this very dynamic world. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Rod, thank you so much for joining us today.
Catherine, thank you. I do appreciate those kind words. I'm not sure I'm an amazing Canadian, but I'll take that in for a moment. It's just an absolute pleasure to be here today. Thank you for this.
You're hilarious. You are an amazing Canadian. That's why we chose you. May we start with the questions that I sent you earlier?
You just go right ahead. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you. So the one most difficult, of course, is what has been your greatest challenge over the last few months?
That's such a great one. I think for me personally, it has been the inability to spend the time with my children like I've been able to before. And we used to run lots of kind of family events and face-to-face stuff, deck stuff, all that kind of stuff. And just having to be away from my kids and not being able to hug them or show them any type of affection has been really difficult for us both. But it's also realizing that that's an important part of what we needed to do over the last few months. Professionally, I think the biggest challenge has been navigating, obviously, like many organizations have, around this whole pandemic and what it's going to look like when we get out. And just realizing that it is a bit of a wave and we've got to figure out how to ride it to the best of our ability. And I get concerned about my team and my team's ability to do that and what kind of support do they need from me as a leader and our leadership team. And then the broader HR community, the amount of stress that's been put on HR to really step in and lean into this challenge, which is, they've done amazing. I'm hearing so many incredible stories, but just realizing that this has really stretched people in so many ways across the globe that it's just, we just need to learn how to move forward into it and just continue to be the best selves that we can be.
Oh. Can you remind me again of how long you've been leadership in our amazing HR association?
I took over the as an interim in March of 2019. And I'd also sat on the board back in 2014. So I had kind of some intimate knowledge as to the organization and what we did. And so the last 18 months have been, from my career, probably the busiest months I've ever had in consideration of what we needed to do with the organization, turn it around. But also then as we did that and coming into 2020, then having to navigate the pandemic and be there not only for my organization, but also for the organizations across the country that we partner with. And also more importantly, and most importantly, for our members to be there for them to help give them the supports that they need to help their organizations thrive.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your leadership, Rod, and all the things that you do.
Thank you.
The next part is the 3 things that you would like to share with our audience today.
Well, I think the first thing is how so proud I am of the HR community to have stepped in at a time of real great global challenge and change, and to be the ones that organizations could rely on to help guide them through this very difficult transition of what the world of work is going to look like in the future. So my hat's off to all the professionals who have done what they've done for the last 4 months. My hope is that they'll all get a chance at some point in time this summer to take a bit of a breather break as we reset in the world. I guess the second thing and related to that is the realization that what we've come into now after 4 months of what has been really a challenge for HR across the globe is, what is that new world of work going to look like? And my hope is that we'll take this as an opportunity as organizations, as leaders, as professionals, to kind of rethink some of the things that we look at from a work perspective and some of the dynamics that existed before and how they can change and evolve. So I think that's really exciting for the profession, that we're now highlighted and we're now part of that organic change environment where we're seen as catalysts to move companies and organizations forward. So that's, I think, really important. And the third thing is, let's find some time to get some rest, because it has been very challenging for all of us. Whether you're in a small company or a big company, navigating this has been an enormous challenge. It's important for us to take some time to rest up, to make sure that when we come back in the fall or whenever it might be, that we're starting to look at things a little bit differently with new, open, innovative, and creative eyes that are fully rested to take on the challenges that are coming our way.
I love your brain. That's awesome. Well said, my friend.
You're too
Well
kind.
said.
Thanks,
Well,
Catherine. You're too kind.
that's awesome, Rod. Thank you.
You bet.
And your good news or legacy story that you want to end with?
Oh my gosh, I think my number one thing is for HR to be seen as that profession that can really help guide and change organizations into this future world of work. I think there's such an opportunity for us to hang on to what has transpired out of COVID. It has been a tragedy across the globe, and we continue to navigate all that. My heart is out there for all the families and loved ones who have lost people and who struggle with all of that. I've had some personal cases in my own circle of people that have lost loved ones. My heart is there for them, and I don't want to minimize that. But I also want us to think about, there's change here, and there is opportunity here for us to rethink how we do things. And I really do believe that the HR function, or the people function as we call it, whatever we call it, is really the ones that can stand in there and say, look, I can help you through this. So let's do this together. Such an amazing community to be part of.
I love it. Thank you. And I've got one other question that I'd love to ask you. So what you just said with HR navigating, I mean, all across the world, they've been so amazing, and you're absolutely right in helping navigate. So my question is, do you have any courses or online courses that you recommend for some of the organizations that maybe don't have HR, or maybe have a junior HR person and maybe didn't have that same sort of support? Do you have a way to direct them?
Yeah, I do think that one of our areas of operation is to support small and medium-sized businesses who don't have an HR program in their organization, and try to help guide them through that. We don't offer programming for them, but we offer facilitation and guidance around that. So my first thing would be, make sure that you're part of the HR association in your local jurisdiction, whether you're a member of SHRM or CPHR Canada or CIPD in the UK, whatever it might be. Make sure you're part of that community so you can touch and connect with those resources that are there for you. I really do believe that any HR today is all about the business. So understanding what the business operations are, what the strategic intentions are of the organization, what the organization is wanting to achieve. So if you're an HR professional, my advice to you is understand business. Understand the business that your organization is in, because when you do that, you're in a position then to really help that organization thrive and prosper, because you get the connection. And we know now that as organizations evolve, we're seeing more and more in the human capital value of an organization, where much of the value of an organization today is based in the intrinsic assets of people. So if we're not investing in people to drive our organizations forward, then we're going to miss out. So if you're an HR professional and you're looking for ways to contribute and to help your company, the first and foremost thing is understand your business operating environment, and then understand business as a whole, and you'll be a great partner in that organization's success.
Great advice. You're awesome. Rod, thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody, that was my dear friend, Rod Miller, and I'm so glad that you could join us for today's Cats Track, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.